Hello and welcome back. This is Mystic Games coming in with you another video on Northgard. This is part 3 of my little intro to the game. Today we're going to be talking about Hugin and Munin, which are the two crows that serve Odin from lore, if I remember correctly. They are also in the game Valheim, and you meet them very early on. So very cool. If you guys like Viking games, Valheim's another cool game to check out. I may eventually do some videos. I'm just crazily playing multiple games, as you guys will learn. Anyways, they're all based on economy. This is a very gold-heavy. They're going to be a trade victory, probably, if you're using this clan. That's what your focus is going to be. It says they're 2 stars, difficulty to learn, but they're one of the entry-level clans, and I actually just think once you learn the victory conditions, you kind of learn certain clans have a very strong affinity with a certain victory condition, and when you're playing that clan, that should be your focus. For the crows, it is gold. Earning crowns, earning gold. So they're all about development and mostly about crowns in their economy. They're slightly based on war because they are the seafaring, I shouldn't say they're the seafaring, but they're the ones that kind of are meant to be like the Vikings that plunder the coast. They hit, they sack, and then they run, which is a pretty unique and cool play style. I find it very interesting that it goes with this clan. That's something on a personal note I'll mention there, because it doesn't seem like they would be the clan to do this. It seems like they would just be focusing on money, not on sacking. But again, just an interesting tidbit there. And they are not very solid at support. Although, I would argue, because of the ability to summon raiders and to sack enemy zones and to hit other zones in the map, I would actually say they are slightly a support, because they can send units across the sea without having to send their own army. So, I would actually say military support-wise, they actually are probably a 2-star. But I think when they say support, they mean like, economy support here. Anyways. Their starting bonus is you can spend crowns to colonize instead of food, which is very helpful with a clan that's heavily based on gold or crowns, as they call them in this game. The harbor replaces the long ship dock. That pretty much is just a unique building. We'll talk about that when we go about it below, but essentially it just slightly, it gives you raids is what it does. You gain lore when you scout new zones, and fame when you discover neutral factions and enemy town halls. That's a nice little bonus with the lore, is as you walk around and you look at the map, you get your tech tree advances a little quicker. Anyways, let's talk about their fame bonuses. They pretty much have to do with raiding. So you can raid territories except town hall of an enemy. And you can assign 3 sailors in your harbor with a lighthouse. So I think you can get up to 4 sailors total with an upgraded harbor, as long as it has a lighthouse attached to it. And you can trade with the homeland, which is a special bonus that only they get. You also have wartime economy. All upkeep is reduced by 15%. Upkeep of military buildings is reduced by 50%, so essentially it reduces your military costs, and it reduces all your overall upkeep for buildings, which is very strong because it reduces gold cost, and again, that just means more crowns. Mercenaries can be recruited from military buildings. They do not consume food or wood, but require crowns to stay in your warband, and then you can also finally target town halls for raids, which is really cool when you can just drop mercenaries on a zone and they will go there and attack. They also have access to the unique relic where they can pretty much summon a giant to raid the coast. And their power is dependent on how many mercenaries are with them. So you would drop mercenaries there and then you drop a giant there. It's pretty much how it works out. Their tech tree is mostly based on exploring and based on money. So they have rangers, increases your scouting and exploration speed by 50%, which is great. It goes good with that one bonus where they gain lore for exploring. And your scouts no longer consume food, and they cannot be hurt. So that pretty much means once you send a scout out and you have this choice pick, they will not die, because Scouts take damage over time as they explore. Journeyman increases your happiness based on the zones you explored. This is a really solid way to increase your happiness without having a brewery, or to supplement the brewery so you don't have to have as many brewers. You have a gear upgrade, gives you 4% attack power and defense for each active sailor or merchant. This goes up to 20%. You pretty much will pick this and you'll have probably 12%, if not higher, at all times, because your whole economy focuses on merchants and sailors, so you're going to get there very quick. You probably will be maxed out, let's put it that way. Exotic goods unlocks the lighthouse, increases the sailor's resources production, and gives you, when you're using great trade routes, you gain 2 happiness, which is the trade victory, which is going to be what you're going to go for. And for each 200 commercial influence, new villagers arrive 15% quicker. So this just makes it so your villagers just pump out. Again, if you're going for a trade victory, which you should be doing, you're going to get there pretty quick, and you're going to be pumping out villagers, so you'll be able to replace villagers very quickly with this ability. It also goes extremely well, and I will not normally do this for each clan, but with recruitment, this increases your growth, and then this increases your growth as well because it reduces the required happiness, which means you produce people quicker. So if you have this, this, and this, you're just pumping out villagers eventually. Your trade routes produce 100% more crowns. Your merchants will produce 30% more crowns. Marketplaces, their prices are reduced by 25%, and you send 25% less resources for trade routes. So essentially, more money, more money, more money. It's better than the ones that the normal factions get. I actually really like picking this for every faction, even the non-Raven specialization one. I think it's really strong. It goes well with negotiations, which reduces the marketplace's cost by 50%, which means now you're reducing cost by 75%, and you have faster stock replenishment, so you can almost not worry as much about food and wood and stuff later, because if you have this and then you get this, you can usually just buy it from the marketplace to supplement. Very strong clan, very crowns focused. Just remember, you're going to always start off in the same general way, where you're going to go for food, wood, and then you're probably going to expand into crowns after. But once you're on crowns, these guys are so good with their money, if you build them properly, that they will pretty much be able to buy anything else you need. So that they're good for that. That being said, the harbor is where you put sailors, and you can recruit mercenaries to attack shores. And obviously the lighthouse connects to it, and it gives you a trade victory that way. And pretty much your leader is Liv, and your specialty is summoning mercenaries. Anyways, this clan is really fun. I find this clan very enjoyable, just like I find the goat very enjoyable from the last video. And I really, this is one of the clans that I will go back and play, just because I find them fun. Anyways, on to the Clan of the Bear. They're pretty much a development and military faction, and what they're about is reducing costs during winter. They're the winter faction. That's what I'm going to call them. That's their specialty. So they reduce food and firewood penalties in winters by 30%, which is just every winter you take a cut in resources, and the bear just reduces it. You can summon a bear that fights for you from your training camps. It regenerates and produces food near fish. So when he's idle, he's good to stick in his own little lake. Instead of having a reduced power, your military units gain 10% resistant bonus during the winter. So they're a little bit stronger in the winter than other factions will be for military units. You have access to the bear at 200 fame, and you already have access to the bear. You gain a bonus in production wherever the bear and your war chief are. I don't believe, again, I haven't played this faction in a while. This is not one of my favorites by any means. I do think they're cool. I don't believe the local production stacks, so if you have both, I think you have to put them in 2 different zones to get the maximum effect from this bonus. Someone could test that out and tell me later if that's correct or not. I honestly don't remember. The Bear Awakens, you gain 3 fame for every unit killed in a zone with your war chief in it. Your military units gain a little bit of attack power per fame, and your bear can now go into enemy territory. So instead of just your territory and neutral territory, it can go into enemy territory. I almost feel like that is unnecessary, but they have a really good combat relic, which is it gives the war chief a sword essentially that every time they hit in an area, it gives them slow. It like freezes the enemies, so it slows them down, their attack speed and everything. And it gives your war chief a 10% attack and 10% defense bonus. So very strong relic. Their tech tree is hibernation. Your non-sick clan members' health regenerates during winter. That's pretty solid. Harpoons, fish production is increased by 30%, and you can have 1 more fisherman assigned. So you can have a total of 4 fishermen or a total of 3, depending on the upgrade level of your fishing hut. You gain 1 happiness per territory or zone for having a military camp. So it's one of those things where you're gonna want to make military camps in kind of each zone if you have the space to do so. This can be very useful, but it can be hard to do as well, because you don't always want like 100 military buildings. It varies. Your shield bearers are free to upgrade, and it increases their resistance. They also have a special upgrade for their every like 6 or every 3 you get I think it's every 6 you get one of these. For theirs, it's during winter, food consumption is reduced by 30%, and all non-food productions are increased by 15%. So they're just overall a very strong clan in the winter. They're focused on fishing, and they're focused on combat, really. And they do have a little upgrade here that gives them the ability to kind of go for a fame victory, but I don't think they specialize in any victory. I would say the best victory probably is fame for them, or domination, which is killing the other clans. Alrighty, we got the Clan of the Boar, the Clan of the Lore. That's what they are. They are the lore-focused clan. They are to give you a more knowledge quickly, and they're all about pretty much economy. They have very weak military, and they have very weak support. And I actually agree with the ratings for the most part on them. The Mender's Hut replaces the Healer's Hut. Pretty much what that does is it changes the Healer's Hut when they're not healing to gathering food to gathering lore. They can colonize zones with wolves and bears and pretty much I believe it's any animal they can colonize that zone or that territory, and they essentially gain them as warriors in that zone. Like, they won't leave, but they'll defend the zone for you. It's actually really strong because it allows you to potentially take zones early that you want to be able to get early, and you even get something to help defend it. Each additional territory gives you max 2 to population, so you need less housing. Unlocking knowledge gives a +5 to fame bonus. No penalties to happiness for non-upgraded houses and town halls. Pretty much, if you don't upgrade your houses, eventually your people get upset if they're not upgraded, and with the Clan of the Boar, that's not a problem. This clan can only trade with neutral factions. What I will say about this clan that I dislike is I don't like the whole non-upgraded thing. They have they're the lore clan, but they also have this focus on non-upgrading of their buildings, which in the end, generally upgrading your buildings will be more beneficial than not. So I feel like they kind of did. That's not the best for any clan, but not really that important. So anyways, we have heritage, gives free knowledge when you pick it, and your War Chief heals friendly animals in the zone he's in and gains the ability to tame one. So one will follow him around, like you can actually take control of it, and when he's in the zone, you can use those defending animals that you have to defend your zones, and if they take damage, they won't be healed by your menders, so you can use your War Chief to move into the zone, and he'll heal them for you, so that's cool. Pretty much what they get for their 500 fame is they get upgraded special knowledges. So for them, they get reduced food by 70% and reduced food by 50%. For boulders, they gain the +5 happiness instead of +3, and they gain +2 lore as well. And for the last one, your army and your towers get upgraded and get more attack power. Their special relic produces 6 food, and you can pay 150 lore to summon a giant boar that is controllable as long as it's not in combat. So it's a very good defensive unit, but I wouldn't use it as much to attack, because once it's in combat, you can't pull it out until it's dead or it wins. So if you're not going to win the combat, it's not worth using. For their tech tree, they have simple living. This reduces the wood cost by 50%. They have herbalism, which increases production in each zone that has menders in it per mender, and increases their healing. You have increases the happiness and production yields of your Altar of Kings. You have Lay of the Land, which reduces hostility by 70%, which means things won't attack you as much, like random neutral targets won't come out at you as much. And increases non-villager production by 10% in forests, swamps, and where there are fish. And what non-villager production means is anyone that's a specialization. So like a wood cutter would gain this bonus because they're a specialization. You can also colonize uncleared wolf dens and fox burrows. Bartering, I don't usually pick this. Your trade routes produce 100% more crowns. Neutral factions will accept any resource, and you gain +1 happiness when trading with them. Trade routes with neutral factions earn you 20% crowns and a better relationship. So, handiwork. Again, non-upgraded buildings receive 15% production, -10% buildings upkeep costs. Again, not a big fan of this either because I like to upgrade my buildings. And then osmosis, you can obtain 1 happiness for every 3 colonized zones. Zones with forests, swamps, and fish provide 1 happiness. I do like osmosis, I will say. Anyways, that is our second video on clans. It's already running almost 20 minutes, which is just absolutely insane to me that I went this long. I think I got a little too into the Raven clan there, as they're one of my favorites. But I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, like, dislike if you didn't. Tell me what you like about the clans. Tell me what you don't like. I like to see discussion in the bottom. Even tell me your playstyle. I'm sure other people would like to know as well. Alright, this has been Mystic Games. I'll see you in the next one. Later, guys.